Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan. Welcome back to The Forge. In today's episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith, I'm going to be making an epic DIY widget. Okay, this little epic tool that I'm making is great for anyone who does a little bit of DIY around the home. It's also good for a couple of trades in the building industry and landscaping, and it's particularly useful for one trade. I'm not going to tell you what the trade is because I'd like you to have a guess what it is whilst I'm making it. You're not going to win anything, I just thought it was a bit of fun. So if you get about 10 seconds into me forging it and you go, well, that's one of those, and you write it down in the comments, I might give you a shout out at some point, but it's just a little bit of fun. You're not going to win anything. For this I'm using a piece of spring steel. This in itself is spring steel off of a tedder or a hay rake, depends on what machine it was on originally, I guess. And I'm using spring steel because the tool this is going to become needs to have a little bit of strength to it. Okay, I've got that a bit hot. So the first thing I'm doing, this is about 10mm or 3/8 round, this spring. And what I'm going to try and do is take it down to about 1/2 inch by 3.5 mil, so quarter, so 1/8, something like that. And about 3 inches long, so about 75mm long. Okay, remember, if you think you know what it's for, put it in the comments. So I'm going to take about 1 inch of material, I'm going to hold it about 45 and start putting a set down in. Like so. I'm going to try and take this down to about the thickness of the material but square. Okay, so I want this square, so I'm going to take a bit of thickness out of the width and then now, because this is spring steel, as you get up to those colder temperatures, try not to hit it too much. Okay, so now I'm going to start rounding it up, and to do that I'm going to take the corners off first. And what I want to do is take the corners down to the same width of as the flat sides, as if they've already had their corners taken off. Does that make any sense at all? Okay, it's cold again. Okay, so that's what we've got at the minute. We've got this little bit here, which I think needs to be a little bit longer, and then this bit that pushes out like that. Okay, next job is just to start rounding this up. Okay, this feels ever so slightly too short, but then again, the last one I made for him was too long, so well, it wasn't too long, it just was a bit long for going on his keychain. I've decided that it needs to be longer. Okay, so we're almost done now. I'm just going to flatten the end out. Oh, I have just taken an angle grinder ever so quickly just rounded the tip up just a touch. Almost finished. I've just put a little bit of a chamfer on there. Put a little flick in there like so. If only I had some way of getting into this tin. This is a little bit of beeswax with turpentine in it. Dries on reasonably well, stays on quite well. Okay, yes, it's quite clear what it is now. It's for opening cans, and it also does a nice little trick at opening jars. I made one of these for my brother-in-law a while ago. He's a painter decorator, and he's got this cheap one that he's been using, and it keeps bending and stuff. This is a piece of spring steel. The one that he's got is some cheap Chinese nasty stuff. I don't like it at all. That's probably derogative to call it Chinese. Anyway, it's some cheap mass-produced thing that doesn't work very well. It just ends up bending. I made him one before, and basically the one I made him before, someone nicked it. So I made him a slightly smaller one, because the one I made him before was a bit bigger. I made him a slightly smaller one, and this time I'm hoping it can go on his keyring. I think it looks quite fetching, and also this little flicky end here does a really good job of getting into tins. If they're all caked up with paint and all sorts, and you can use it sideways, and you can get it. Anyway. Lovely little tool. It's a really nice Father's Day present. It would be a really nice present for your old man or your mum. Also, if you've got a jar lid that won't open, you can get one of these, stick it underneath, and just let the air pressure out of the jar pop straight open. So a great little tool. I definitely recommend making one. I definitely recommend making one for friends or making many for friends and family. But this is going to my brother-in-law for his birthday, so happy birthday, David. I think this is a bit early. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you are a subscriber, please ring that bell for notifications, because it will tell you every time I make a video, and I make videos as often as possible, about twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. And I do the occasional live. I'm not doing as many as I like, and I'd like to do a few more from the workshop, but you know, it's how it goes sometimes. That's everything, I think. Oh, in the comments, I'll go through the comments to see if anyone actually guessed what this was. You didn't win anything, but thanks for having a guess, I guess. And that's everything. So I will leave a link up here to me making a hacksaw. I'll leave a link down here to me making a hammer. And this is my Patreon, and this down here is the subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me. See you guys and girls later. Bye bye.